Hello and welcome to the AIDEM Risala Update Poll Talk once again. This is one of the last poll talks we must be having because the elections are over. Government formation is going to take place sometime around the weekend. But in the poll talk, we have once again with us Yogendra Yadav. Yogendra, first of all, congratulations. You have been claiming right from the beginning of this election. We've been interacting repeatedly in this poll talk, and you had said that I'm a political activist. I'm no longer a cephalist, but I'm an essentially an observer, somebody who travels and looks at the scene on the ground. But you got the elections much better and more right than all the pollsters put together.
Frankly, Venkatesh bhai, thanks for that. But honestly, my attempt was not to get a gold medal in the election forecasting contest. I'm not a part of it. And to better the exit polls is none of my purpose. My real purpose was that as a political activist, I thought a completely false narrative was being foisted on this country, right from pre-election surveys.
Yeah.
And then throughout the election, the media coverage. And the impression was, aayega to Modi hi. And that was affecting everyone. Initially, I also took seriously. But once I realized that this is a false narrative, that
when you started traveling on the ground.
When I started traveling, and we spoke after that,
Yeah.
I realized this is a completely false narrative. And then it was my bounded duty that I have to puncture it because this is false narrative. So I came out, and so my satisfaction is not so much that I got the forecasting right. That's a small thing, and there's always a bit of fluke in getting the numbers right. I have some satisfaction that I could puncture this false narrative when it was being spread.
Yeah, I think
and my regret is that I could not do it sufficiently. You know, if only 1/4 of the media of this country had shown some of the things we were talking about.
Okay.
And if at the beginning of this election, if the media had told this country that it is a close contest, the result would have been very different.
Yeah. Even far more different than this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the 235 seats of the India coalition would have become 275.
Yeah.
And BJP's 290 would have become, 240, 250 for NDA.
Yeah.
That would have been the case.
Yeah.
So that's a regret.
Yeah. But anyway, I remember after the penultimate phase of polling, you were talking to some channels and you had come up with a figure for BJP between 240 and 260, and now it has come exactly to the lower end of that. But anyway, I mean, as you said, this has been a great experience for Indian democracy, and especially far beyond this numbers game and all that. So what does this mean for the country as a political activist, as a long-term political observer? What is your take on this result?
Venkatesh, it's a great opening for Indian democracy. I was only 14-year-old in 1977 when I saw sudden grand opening for democracy. It is not quite comparable to 1977 because the scale of shift is not that much. But the political impact could almost be like that.
Right.
It's an opening for democracy. I will start with the series of positives that have happened. Let me start with some small ones. Number one, EVM conspiracy theory has been busted, and I'm so very happy. For 10 years, I have said EVM conspiracy theory is not correct. But this time, towards the end of the election, I was also slightly shaky.
Yeah, you had mentioned after the Madhya Pradesh elections also, you had said that.
Yeah, I was shaky, and I thought, and the manner in which all the exit polls were saying the same thing. I was not shaken by the exit poll results. I was shaken by the apprehension that exit polls could be a cover for some other manipulation. I was wrong, and I'm so very happy that at least the counting and voting process integrity is there. Number two.
No, I think that's also partly because of the regulations and kind of way and manner in which the opposition parties address the...
Absolutely, it is not because of the Election Commission.
Yeah.
No. The role of the Election Commission has been utterly disgraceful, one of the worst ever in the history of this country. It is not the election commissioners who saved this country. These are the rules and regulations developed over the years. Form 17C saved us. And a lot of other precautions built into the system have saved us. But thankfully, you and I and everyone can trust the machines. That's a very big positive. Second, people may not notice it, but I have noticed it. That BJP has developed vested interest in South Indian votes.
Okay.
They are starting to get votes in South India, which actually is a very good news for India, Indian democracy.
Because otherwise there would have been North-South divide.
That's right. The manner in which the North-South, the trends were different, and there was a talk of North-South divide, which I was very uncomfortable about. Because I feared that if BJP has no stakes in, such a large national party has no stakes in South India, then they might push the agenda of delimitation, which would be a proxy for reducing the share of South India in the parliament. I don't think BJP would do that now, because now they have vested interest in South India. Actually, that's a good news for the country. Third, and now coming to more serious things, I think this increases the contestatory space within the parliament. The opposition is not only in greater numbers, the opposition would also have greater voice in the parliament, which is very important. The media, I really hope that some little opening will take place. I don't want to overestimate it, because the media owners are still in their lap and BJP has 20 ways of capturing them and so on. But now these media owners are slightly shaken that, agli baar kuch ho sakta hai. There would be some balancing that would take place. Judiciary always keeps an eye on public opinion.
Right.
And BJP's entire stranglehold was that the public is with us, who are you?
Yeah.
Now I hope the judiciary would be able to read some of the letter and spirit of the constitution, which had kind of blurred over the last few years. Institutions. I don't expect institutions to become autonomous, independent, ED, IT, they are all under the thumb of the government. But lots of people within the system would now know that no, they have to be careful. That if I'm being asked to do something which is utterly unconstitutional, 10 years from now I can be caught for that. Right. Slight correction would find. And finally, movements, protests, resistance will grow, will become more confident, and that is my biggest hope. Because it's not so much the parliament. The real resistance in this country has been on the street. I think the streets get empowered, nothing like it.
I think the story of this election is also true, because you said that the BJP has started developing vested interest in the south. But the northern India has also given a completely different picture. It has not got swayed by Hindutva. Look at the result in Uttar Pradesh. And I think essentially...
That is the story. That Uttar Pradesh. But let me begin with small stories. Farmer movement. What was the area of farmers movement? East Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, West UP. Look at the results everywhere. And it doesn't need a cephalogist. No prime minister in the history of this country will have the guts to do something to farmers now.
Right.
Because they've seen the result.
Yeah.
What happened in Muzaffarnagar? Other areas of West.
Even Sikar.
Seeker. Look, two people who used to sit in my, our committee meetings, AIKSCC, they are in the parliament. Amra Ram and Raja Ram Singh. Raja Ram Singh from Bihar in Karakat, farmer leader from the CPIML, and Amra Ram from CPIM in Rajasthan. So, and Ajay Mishra Taini has lost his election. I'm not claiming it's only because of farmers' movement.
Yeah.
but it will be seen to be a fitting defeat of someone who took on farmers. So that's the thing. Symbolically, Faizabad, defeat of BJP in Ayodhya, that's like rubbing the nose and saying, okay, this is what you thought you would do to this country.
And that too by a Dalit leader.
That's right, a Dalit leader. You know, these are absolutely startling symbolic things which give you so much of a sense of pride. And you know, democracy is about bringing the high and mighty to dust. And this is what has happened. This happened to Smriti Irani, and this happened to so many of them. That is what really, you know, in Bihar, in Ara, you know, that Sudama Prasad Singh of CPIML has defeated R.K. Singh, the bureaucrat with such arrogance. This is Sudama Prasad, you know, someone who's come from a very poor family, who's come up, he's done that. These are things that make me, you know, give me deep inner delight. This
interestingly,
is done, you know.
interestingly, in the very first days of the government formation, the NDA allies, parties like the Janata Dal United and even Lok Janshakti Party, Ramvilas Paswan, they have already asked for a rollback of the Agniveer scheme.
Absolutely, and you know, so there are messages. Everyone knows. In fact, I would not be surprised. There are no allies of the BJP from Rajasthan or Haryana, but I know for sure Haryana and Rajasthan MPs of the BJP will raise this question. Inside, not outside. You and I may not get to read it. But no, Agniveer has been an utter embarrassment for this government. In my travels, no RSS BJP worker could defend it on the ground. I was traveling in Churu Jujnu Seeker belt, you know, which gives so many people in the army. And this is one thing which no one could defend. They would just keep quiet. So, yeah, I mean, this is the beauty. This is the beauty of elections.
After the first round of travels in Rajasthan and Western Uttar Pradesh, you had told me that I am hearing one word that is getting repeated, which I heard in 77, Tanashahi.
Tanashahi.
So, now of course, you know, in spite of all that slogan, we are still going to have Modi as Prime Minister and Amit Shah most probably as Home Minister. So, how does the equation change, or how does the overall situation change? I mean, just because BJP does not have majority on its own, do you think that this Tanashah trait will completely disappear?
Look, BJP has the numbers with their allies. BJP is forming the government, and technically, legally, there is nothing improper about what they are doing. They are the largest party. They should be invited. They have the numbers beyond 272, they will form the government, they should be able to get the vote of confidence, but that's the technicality. You govern not on the basis of that technicality, you govern on the basis of an assumption of popular mandate. I am the Prime Minister, and I am the Prime Minister because I represent the people of India. That's gone. So they have the numbers, they don't have popular mandate. They will have state power, but they will not have Iqbal. I use this word Iqbal. Iqbal is hard to translate, it's in Urdu, which is about, I mean, you know, normally about glory and so on, but in the context of state power, it is about your authority. You know, you wield authority even before you issue a notice or a legal notification, you have authority. It is that moral authority which has been reduced, which is what Modi wanted above all. This election was not about BJP getting a third term. This election was about the supreme leader of this country getting a post facto stamp on whatever he's done to the constitution of this country and a post dated check to say that whatever he might do should be endorsed. People of India have refused to give him that check. That's most important.
Finally, what is as a political activist, what is the next thing that you may be taking up? Because you know, these elections were very momentous, and you had decided that you will play a role of a catalyst in this, and I think you have played that role. But you have now become a political activist and more than an academic or a zoologist and all that. So what is the next role? I mean, the farmers' issue still remains. unresolved? I mean, are you planning to regroup in the farmers' front, and is the farmers going to continue with their agitation? Is there some plans on this front?
I'm not alone, as you know.
Yeah.
When you say you,
No,
it
I'm-
means,
yes,
I know. What you mean is Bharat Jodo Abhiyan, which is a collective of thousands of activists who said, I used to work in the farmers movement, I may still go back to natural farming, but right now, country in danger. I would give up everything and focus on this. I was a peace activist, I was working on communal harmony, I was working on science education. Right now, I'll focus on this. These thousands of activists have worked in about 100 plus constituencies, 120 about. We're just getting the figures. I was just reviewing as I spoke to you.
Okay.
We had intervened in 38 constituencies of Uttar Pradesh, and BJP has been defeated in 26 out of those.
Okay.
In Maharashtra, we intervened in 18 constituencies. BJP was defeated in 13 of those, and we had selected those constituencies which were marginal,
Right.
where we thought some difference can be made. So we are getting reports from other places.
Okay.
One thing is clear, the job is not finished. It's only begun. Fight against RSS and BJP is a long-term political, ideological, cultural project, because RSS has entered this country not through electoral politics. They entered by capturing minds. They entered by injecting poisonous ideas. We have to detoxify this country, and that has to be a long-term challenge.
And I
Political
think
parties alone cannot do that. That's our job.
the cultural project is very important, but are there any concrete plans on that front?
Yeah, 3-4 things we are, we're just planning. Just today was the first day we regrouped and said, congratulated, had peda each and said, all right, now what next? So I've just had some lovely pedas. There's a long-term ideological project in terms of training, and that's one thing, Venkatesh, I really want to do. I'm by nature a teacher and not a formal teacher. I would really like to spend whatever remains of my life in training youngsters, telling them what this country is all about. When I was young, I was lucky. I had Kishan Patnaik to teach me.
Yeah.
I had Sachidanand Sinha to teach me, Ashok Saxena to teach me. I had a senior like Sunil with me. Today, these people don't have that.
Right.
So one is this long-term project. Second is about movements and real issues. Employment, the issue of unemployment, issue of price rise in general, farmers, workers issue, issues related to education and health. All these issues, women's security, all these issues need to be raised. So we have always been working on these things. We will of course reinvest our energy in this. And number 3, there is the short-term challenge of Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Haryana.
Okay.
The result has shown that BJP can be ousted in all these 3 states. And the verdict is complete only when they are ousted at the state level as well.
Right.
So the sense that my colleagues have is, yes, go ahead, do that.
Okay.
Because it's a long-term challenge, and the challenge is so big that it cannot be left only to political parties. To save this country, everyone has to come together. So with greater confidence, greater determination, ladenge, jeetenge.
Thank you, Yogendra. All the best to you. And of course, we'll continue this conversation in the, whether the platform is PollTalk or something else, we'll continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.